Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Deb Sofield, and you're listening to my weekly podcast series called Encouragement for Your Life. Most of you know I'm a national speaker, trainer, and coach. I like to say I help people find their voice and learn to use it. I'm also a conference speaker on the topics of public speaking, presentation skills, how to deal with the media, and crisis communication. I've got a number of other presentations on my website if you'd like to check those out. If your organization has an upcoming conference and you need a keynote speaker, I hope you'll reach out at debsofield.com. I would love to be a part. I've got a number of great books on the market. My best-selling book, Speak Without Fear. My book, Perfecting Your Platform. Both of those are on Amazon and Audible if you like to listen to books. And my series, Encouragement for Your Life, which is a compilation of these podcasts, they're available on Amazon, volumes 1 through 3. Just go into Amazon, type in my name, Deb Sofield, all my books will appear. I've got a fun show today, and I'm calling it, Wouldn't It Be Great If Everyone Was Happy to See You? I certainly hope so. Stay with me. I'll be right back after the break. I have to tell you, I really like the headline because I think it would be such a positive experience. Wouldn't it be great if everyone were happy to see you? I mean, really, really, really happy to see you every time you come around. Recently, I saw a photo online of the most adorable little boy who was at an amusement park where he met someone in a costume who, to me, looked a lot like Tinkerbell. She was beautiful, looked very kind and sweet as she kneeled down to hug him and speak to him. The look on his face, captured by his parents' camera, was one of pure joy, glee, thrill, elation, and excitement. When I posted that on Facebook, I received literally hundreds of likes because it's such a joyful visual. And it got me thinking about how great it would be if every time you and I showed up at an event, people were genuinely glad to see us, as if there was something about us that made people smile, look forward to our company, or just happy to know that we showed up for them. The good news is, you and I can become such a person. It doesn't take much. Now, for some, it might be a new view of the old grumpy you, but you can become the person that everyone hopes will show up for the dinner, the ball game, the bike ride, or any work event. So a week ago, when I had a radio show and I would have guests on it, I had a friend on the show, and when I asked about a book that changed his life, he said, "You know, Deb, you're not going to believe it, but it is the old classic, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie." Now listen, it is an old book. It's been around for 100 years, and it is one of the first best-selling self-help books ever published. It was written in about 1936, and I think to date we're over 15 million copies worldwide, and it's still considered the standard for those who want to change their world or how others perceive them. Wikipedia says that the billionaire Warren Buffett took the Dale Carnegie course, How to Win Friends and Influence People, when he was 20 years old, and to this day, he has the diploma in his office. I'm not surprised, since these rules are timeless. If you want to get ahead in life, you and I would do well to dust off that old book and put it back into practice for our success, not only for our personal success, but also our gift of kindness that we show others by becoming a person of goodwill. I have to admit, I've read the book many times. It's pretty much a standard in most speakers' libraries. I read it now as a reminder that, as a speaker, trainer, and coach, I have an obligation to serve those who come to hear me speak. I believe in any line of work, one has the same responsibility. Wikipedia listed some of the main ideas from the book in a very simple outline. And as I was browsing the list, I came upon a few points that my friend had mentioned to me when he was on my radio show. Now, I know that he did not have that book with him when he was in town, but he has mastered these rules. And that's why when I see him at most events in his role as the go-to guy or master of ceremonies, or the guy who smooths things out and gets things done behind the scenes, he makes others look successful. My friend has taken this book to heart, and it goes well beyond his personal charm to his character of being a true gentleman. If you remember, if you listened to my show back then, my friend mentioned some ways to get people to like you, and his rules are right out of the book. He said this, "Hey, Deb, become genuinely interested in other people." I love the line, "Curious people are boring. Boring people are seldom curious." That's one of my favorites. Smile. He says, "Say what you want, but a smile goes a long way. Being grumpy does not work, people." And remember that a person's name to that person is the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Goes on to say, be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. And don't worry, once you start that conversation, they will take the ball and run and then say how nice it was to talk to you. Talk in terms of other people's interest. There's nothing more disrespectful than always pushing your agenda. And then, probably the most important, make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. Hey, it's not hard to do, but it does take practice. Now, I'm drawn to parts of the book that talk about ways to handle people for success. Probably the most important is don't criticize, condemn, or complain, and then give honest and sincere appreciation. I love the parts of the book that help sway people to your way of thinking. Now, these are just a few of the timeless ideas that Dale Carnegie developed about 75 years ago. And if you can recall that far back, you know the world was very different then. Let me touch on a few ways to win people to your way of thinking. I've got about 5 here. Number 1, the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Number 2, show respect for others' opinions and never say, "Hey, you're wrong," which I have to say in today's world, everybody seems to want to say loudly. Number 3, if you're wrong, admit it and get past it. Number 4, I believe, begin in a friendly way. 5, start with questions to which the other person will answer yes. What's interesting, the yes technique is something I teach when I work with executives and those running for public office. It's a pretty interesting way that, in a sense, bandstands people to come along with you. He goes on to say, Dale Carnegie says, let the other person do a great deal of the talking. Let the other person feel their idea is his or hers, and try honestly to see things from another person's point of view. I hope by now you're either going to purchase a copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie or dust off that book that you have hidden in your library and go ahead and reread it for your personal growth and success. Now, with any book of this age, some aspects probably aren't relevant in today's environment, but for the most part, hey, it's still a pretty good read. Let me give you a final reason to pick up a copy of that book. You'll probably be able to find the revised copy from about 1981 where it says New Revised Edition, and it has updated languages and anecdotes. The revised edition reduced the number of sections from 6 to 4 because it really got rid of sections about business letters and improving marital satisfaction. They probably should have left that one in. Just my 2 cents. All right. 12 things this book will do for you. Number 1, and I'm not going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let me just begin with get out of your mental rut and give you new thoughts, new vision, and new ambitions. Enable you to make friends quickly and easily. Increases your popularity. Helps you win people to your way of thinking. Increases your influence, your prestige, and your ability to get things done. He'll also tell you how to clean up your life and clear out the clutter so you can have new space for new ideas. Enable you to win new clients and new customers. Increase your earning power. Make you a better salesman and better executive, help you handle complaints, avoid arguments, and keep your human contact smooth and pleasant, make you a better speaker, a more entertaining speaker, make the principles of psychology easy for you to apply in your daily contacts, and help you arouse enthusiasm among your associates. All right, so once again, I hope you dust off the book, and I hope it makes you stop and think about how others view you and what you and I have to do when others see us. Because I want people to be filled with joy and happiness at the sight of you, which makes their day brighter. Back when I had the radio show, my guest that week was Miss South Carolina. And if there's one thing I see over and over, it's when a Miss South Carolina contestant or any Miss contestant walks into a classroom or hospital or really any public place, Little kids are enamored with seeing a real live princess because she wears a crown and is usually very kind and beautiful in spirit and in heart. Have to say, it's probably one of the most heartwarming events to witness when you see a child look wide-eyed with wonder at just who is this person with a crown on. Little girls want to be her, boys want to grow up and marry her. I've seen it played out hundreds of times out and about when I'm in the community and see the queens doing their community service. A few of you might know that for years I operated a business as an interview coach for the various pageants. I did everything from the Watermelon Queen, the Cherry Queen, Little Miss, Miss America, Miss USA, the Rodeo Queen, and many others. I bet you didn't know that is such a giant, huge, whopping business. But if you know me, you might wonder, how on earth did Deb Sofield get into the business? So let me tell you my quick story. Many years ago, a sponsor for the pageant business approached me and suggested that since I was good with young people, I knew politics and current events and history, I should consider being a pageant interview coach. To which I said, "You have got to be kidding me. No way. I grew up a tomboy. I have all brothers. I've actually never been to a pageant." Well, I was convinced to take one girl, and I'll never forget her. Her name was Holly. She was beautiful and nice. And when she walked on the stage, all right, this was the funniest thing. The guys in the audience would yell, "Hallelujah!" All right, well, she didn't win, and I'm pretty competitive. So as I was sitting in the audience, I thought to myself, all right, my next client is going to win this event. So I learned the ropes, and sure enough, after a few tries, I had my first Miss South Carolina winner, and then another, and then Miss South Carolina Teen, who went on to win the national title as Miss America's Outstanding Teen. Believe it or not, I was hooked. I went from being the greatest skeptic to the biggest fan once I learned how great pageants are for girls. Many of them would have never had an opportunity to attend college without the pageant scholarship funding. It also teaches young girls to develop self-esteem, excel in their talent, speak on stage, work on physical fitness, and learn about current events so they could maintain a conversation with a judge. Now, unfortunately, TV has made the pageant world out to be a very negative thing. And now, in that world, things have absolutely changed. And not for the better, just Deb's 2 cents. But if you really knew how in its day it changed lives, you would be pleasantly surprised. My girls win every job interview they try for, and they advance up the workplace ladder. They know how to conduct themselves effectively at a table, in meetings, and with others. They have, in a sense, gone to finishing school, something many women could not even afford. I like to tell that story that I went from good coach to great coach when one day a client leaned across the table and said, "You know, Miss Deb, you're my ticket out of the trailer park." Wow, I thought. If she could just win a pageant, she could earn enough money to attend college, becoming the first in her family to do so, and secure a good job. I laugh when my fancy friends from DC or New York City scoff at my pageant work, until I ask them, well then, hey, how many girls have you sent to college? Oh, silence. See, to date, I've helped over 75 girls attend school to make their dreams come true. And listen, it's not about me. It's about polishing them up to see themselves as the amazing and wonderful person that they are. At one time, I was one of the top interview coaches in the Southeast, having had numerous winners across the country. I no longer work in the business as it has undergone significant changes. However, I will say that I love the kids who came through the door to learn how to be their very best and refine the skills they already possessed, as well as developing new ones for lifelong success. And out of the many memories I have from that short time in my life, the ones that I'll never forget are seeing the thrill of little kids lighting up when a real-life princess came to their hospital bed or their school. Why? Because everyone was happy to see them. Ah, friend, wouldn't it be great if everyone was happy to see you? So I gotta say, it's so funny. People ask me about that time and the work I did. I absolutely enjoyed it, but my speaking career was just really booming and I didn't have time to do both. And pageant kids pretty much came weekly, so that was quite a lot of work. However, it was a lot of fun. I'll never forget my girls. And when I see them out and about, you become Miss Deb for the rest of your life. All right. I know today's a little different. I really believe you and I have to constantly polish up who we are so we will be the best of who we are and in any business that we branch out into. And friend, that's why I want you to join me next week. Let's learn new skills together because I want to work towards your better day. And remember, Deb doesn't care what the world says about you. I want you to know I care about you. And I care about you because I believe once you learn simple skills, that any part of the book you read on how to win friends and influence people will benefit you. It will do big things in your life. And here's my promise. I will walk alongside you and guide you as your mentor and friend so we can follow your dream to great success together. Thanks for joining me. Have a great weekend. Join me next week, everybody.
Thank you.